Building the baseboard. 37 centimeters by 102 centimeters, so 137 centimeters by 102. It'll run off the HM 7000, 12 milli by 32. These battens to the length of the board now, so now I need to measure in between this gap so we can fit them that way, and then also another one there, and then something like that. So we've now got all the strengthening beads on, something like that. What we're doing now, we've put some glue on this edge. I've just raised them up with them 2 bits of wood, and then we'll lift this up onto this edge, pin it down. Okay, so that's the baseboard complete. Okay, we've received a package from Hornby. Let's have a look at the dent station. We've got the footbridge, it's really good. We've got the waiting room. So we'll look at the engine shed. Water tower. Platforms. Made a rookie mistake. I thought these came in singles, but they actually come in doubles. So I ended up with loads of the things. So anyway, I've rung Hornby, they're fine. They're going to send me an order number back, so I'm basically going to be sending back 3 straights and 3 ramps. So scenery I've picked up. To be fair, I thought these were going to be bigger bags, but you know, there's a variety. If I need any more, I can get some more. So we've got some coal effect, bit of grey stone, tarmac, but could pass as coal, I think, as well. I don't know whether that'll be too big for the scale, but we'll see. Grey stone, some sand effect, desert sand, sandstone, and then I've got a selection of some greens. And then mostly I've got this kind of scatter, fine scale ballast for Engage, because I'm thinking it would fit in a little bit better. Bought these track pins, apparently these are good for Engage as well, so should be fine for TT. So I've ordered some point motors from Rails at Sheffield. They do their own, well, the DCC Concepts versions. I've ordered 7 of them because I'll have 7 points, and then I want to run it through the HM 6010, so everything will then run off the app. And yes, the HM 6010 accessory ports, it does work with the HM 7000. Each one of them has 4 ports out of it, so I've ordered 2. I'll have 7 for my point motors, and then hopefully I can come up with something just so I can switch my lights on and off. I am going to do lights. We're going to come through here, and I'll just put a light in each bottom of each area. So these are the lights I've gone for. There's white and there's red. So the HM 6010 have come. I've ordered 2. So you get your instructions, normal jargon, and then just your device. It comes with this little tool here, and basically you push it into each one of these, which opens up your area to put your wire. No soldering, providing your wires are long enough to reach. Looks straightforward. We have a parcel from Hornby, signal box, and we have track. Right, so this is basically it. I made an error. I needed 6 on each side, so 12 curves, so 3rd and 2nd radius to make the circle. I thought it was 8, like a 00. That's that layout. I'm now going to have a play with what I had designed. It might not be like a micro layout if I decide to go for it, but let's have a look at it. So by the magic of editing, because trust me, that took a lot longer than these few seconds. It took a lot of work because obviously your track lane plans and things on the computer are based off of OO, so I always knew that it were going to be a little bit of a tweaking and hit and miss. So this is where we're up to, but this layout now allows me having no first radius or anything, so all the trains should be able to get everywhere. I didn't really want to have that first radius in a loop there. I'm going to have to extend it by just a half a straight on each side to allow me to fit in my goods yard and engine shed. Obviously I'll trim them off, but that's good enough. Trim them off a bit just so I can put buffers on it. That then does allow me to have the goods train being able to go in and then obviously store goods down there. It gives me a bigger station, signal box in place, water, and then everything sort of like controls from here. So we've got the track obviously being able to go onto both tracks. All the point motors, so we'll be able to fit one here or there, there and there, there. If anything, this one may be tight. Other than that, yeah, it's took a bit of head scratching. So like anything, I've not got enough stuff. So I'm going to have to order another 4 third radius, another 3 second radius. So we'll use the full length of the board that way. But then I'll be able to lose, I would say, from here. We've received the final bits of track. So we'll now be able to put that down, get it fitted on. And then I'm going to mark it all out, cut the board down to size, and take it from there. So that's the track in its entirety. I've done the line what's going to go into a little fiddle yard up here eventually, and that'll just connect on to there. So I thought I'll future-proof it. I've marked out where I'm cutting the board, so we're going to be cutting it down here and across this line here. I've marked all the way around the track, marker pen, both sides. I'm going to stick it down with contact adhesive. And yeah, that's it. We've got the track planned down. Okay, that's the board cut to its new size. And that's what's come off it. That's the baseboard redone. Put the strengthening back on the battens along the edge. Well, it's all stuck down. So I'll wait for it to dry. And then we shall have a play with the rails of Sheffield point motors. So let's have a look with the buildings in situ. That's going to be the station over there, the signal box. Gives me a nice size station for the size of the layout. And then we've got the goods, the engine shed and the water tower. And then I've just left a little hangover here, so we can fasten the yard onto there at some point. It's a nice small size, and it's yeah, it's going to be plenty of work now to keep me busy. Okay, points. So I've drilled a hole that goes through the baseboard. I've decided I'm going to fit the HM10s underneath. We'll sort it out. I screwed them down for now, just so you can get to them. I have tested it, but now I'm going to wire it up. So, wires are coming underneath. You do get a drilling template for the HM610s. Okay, so red to A, green to C, B to black. And that's now underneath the board. Okay, so temporary in place, just put a couple of screws in. It's wired underneath the board now. So let's open up the app. So let me get that so you can see both. So flip the switch, one across, open, close. Simples. Not a problem at all. Okay, so these ones are a tight fit. You have to trim off that edge there and one of the lugs. But then once you get it positioned, and when you do it, you put your thing all the way across, because obviously that's your farthest point. place that down. It's difficult now because I've got one hand, but there, you see, in a fashion. Right, so that's it. They're all screwed in. Well, that was fun. Not the easiest things to fit in them little holes, but there we go. We've got 4 fitted up. I'm not going to need any block connectors or anything for them. It'll just be them 2 which I'll drag over to here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 are all into the HM6010. So I'll show them working. And then this one, that's the top one. The middle one. The bottom one. That's it. The one that goes in port 4, the motor one, makes a little bit different sound because obviously it's got different setting, so it just runs over a little bit, but it's fine, it all works. So this is all we're doing now. We're putting the wires from the point motor into a block connector, into some normal wires, and then these will feed through that hole there, and into there. So I've been able to test the coaches and stuff going past the station and everything now, so I've managed to stick that down. So that's where that's going. It's a nice big station. It'll fit the 3 carriages on and the loco coaches on, so that's all good. And then I've had to think about the fiddle yard. So I'm now taking the point from here, and then what that allows me to do is I'll be able to have 2 trains here all ready to go. Yeah, so the loco and 3 coaches on both tracks, and then there'll be another point here going into this, and then that'll be good for a few wagons. Right, so let's just bring Blink Bonnie out and bring her onto the main line. Okay, we're going to put some ballast in between the station. So, wish me luck. So as you can see at the moment, I'm just put little piles of ballast down, and then I'm brushing it finally into there before we add the water and PVA mix. So straightforward. So you just keep going, use your spoon. I just use a teaspoon, and then you just spread it down like that. As I'm brushing, I shall make all that cover nicely before I add the water. So it's all been brushed and laid in place. So we're going to spray it, but from all the way up here, trying not to disturb the ballast, and then we shall put the PVA on. So we've now sprayed it, it's now wet. So let's add the 50-50 glue, a bit of washing up liquid mix. Okay, that went well. Now we just leave it alone for 24, maybe 48 hours. So I'm now going to do the same for them bits. Okay, same again, sprayed it, glued it. All I do, bit of paper towel, end at finger, and just run it over track. Once it is all dry, I shall be going over with a Pico track rubber. We can now finish the fiddle yard. So there we go, that's it. So, like I say, 2 full trains in there with 3 carriages, one there, and then this will be good for wagons, goods train, whatever. Stuck it down with my trusty glue what I've been using. It's not Copydex, it's not PVA, it's multi-purpose impact instant contact adhesive. Right, I'm just going to be putting in these little clips now, so they go in that way around like that. So I need to put one of them in each of the points. I've done a little bit of working out which point does what, so I shall make a proper diagram up with that. So same as before, spooned on where it needs to go, and now we've got about 85,000 hours worth of brushing to do. Well, I didn't enjoy that bit one bit. Any ballast around any of these mechanism, it's not smooth. So I've dug it out. I shall disguise it with something. I mean, most important is everything works. So I'm now gonna put some blue tack over all these to cover them up, and then we'll glue it, and then it'll probably never ever work again. Okay, I'm taking no chances. All been blue tacked up. So now we're going to spray it with water and do the PVA. Thought I might as well do the curve while I'm here, and I've got everything out. I've not got enough ballast now to finish that curve. I will have enough to do this part here, but I'm going to get another point motor for there, so I can hook up all of them to the HM6010. And then for the lights, I've decided, seeing as I've got this controller, I may as well make use of the 14 volt control. So I've ordered a step down resistor regulator device, so I may as well just run my lights off of that, and then it allows me to have all the point motors running off of here. There we go. Plenty of glue. Sprayed it first with water. Plenty of glue. And then let that go off. So all I can do now is wait and hope that I've done everything possible that these point motors will still work. We'll come back in 48 hours and we shall test everything. Okay, I'm just now ballasting this bit just to finish that area off. That's that bit all glued down. So all we've got now is the curve on this side to do, but I've run out of ballast, so that's on order. Whilst we're waiting for that to dry, I'm just looking at what I can do about this waterfall, and I can just have a natural spring just coming out of a cave like these ideas, which seem to be, you know, I'll not have to have 2 tunnels, which will give me a little bit more space. So that's what I'm looking at, just ideas like that. Yes, of course it works. A little bit of scraping, a little bit of sweeping. I've vacked it all now. Right, let's test the locos. Fiddle yard. Go around there. And the third radius. So that's that, so they all work. Here's a good clean at track. Looking forward to being able to put this onto the actual layout, which is this roughly. Once you get the HM7000, then you can just press your points, open, close. Hopefully, that's what they're on about. Whether it comes out straight away, I'm not too sure, but that'll make things easier than this. I've just basically got some little brackets like that, a couple of brackets stuck in. And I've also put a hinge onto the board, just so when I lift it up to work underneath, it's not moving all over the place. I can just lower it back down. And then I've marked out where the buildings are going to be going, and I've drilled the holes ready for the wiring. Got a hole in there, hole in there. That's all I'll do with the lights. I'll stick them in. Obviously these ones, I'll have to change them slightly. Hot glue them in, plonk the building over the top. Like that, and that'll do. So that's that job. Just a bit of hot glue, just hold them in place. I've marked out where the road's going to be now and the car park and pass to the station roughly. I've gained myself a free bit of foam. So first stage, I've used that cardboard to mark out the curve. So we shall cut that bit out, draw around it, cut it out, and then that's what goes into that curve. So that's the first bit. We've marked out the tunnel holes using the template there. Now I'm just working out where the track will go underneath, and then I can mark that on the other side to start carving. So cut that out so then it can go on the other side and then mark it out. Okay, something like that. So what I'm doing is cutting it out in chunks and then carving out the channel. Got a bit of a casualty here, so I'm going to stick that back on. Okay, so that's all cleaned up, so we'll try it on the track now. Good thing with this stuff, it mends quite easily. Bit of glue, cocktail sticks, hold it in place, jobs are good. That's cocktail sticks will stay in. Okay, we've tested the full train through the tunnel, so that all fits. So now I've marked it all. So I'll take it off now and just shape it so it's not a sheer drop. Took the harshness off it. We start to build it up. So we shall glue that lot on and then it will be polyfiller. Okay, so I'm going to mix up a bit of this cheap flexible filler. Okay, so that's all dry now. So I'm going to push them cocktail sticks all the way in, just to get a bit more support. And then I found another bit of polyfiller that I've got left over. So I'm going to smooth all that out now. So that'll, once it's dry, get a coat of paint, probably grass on that. Okay, so we've now painted inside the tunnel. So that looks a little bit better. And then I've painted over this lot. Now it's drying. We'll do a rock effect on it, and then I shall add PVA around the bases and just coming up the sides, and then we'll scatter it with some green, and that should be a decent effect. I've also dry brushed just a little bit of black on these areas of the tracks here, just to make that look a bit dirtier, grimier than the rest of it. Only subtle, but you can tell. That's where we're up to, so it's a matter of waiting for things to dry again. So I'm now going to go over it with a lighter grey, but almost dry, so keep dabbing it off and just very little bit, just to try and bring out a little bit more of a rock. So that's it, I've done with painting now. I feel I'll put a little bit of white on, but you can't really tell. I've stuck them down now with contact adhesive. I've stuck that one down, tested it, everything's going through all right. So all I do, contact adhesive on the base, contact adhesive on there, and then stick it down. So that's them all stuck down. And then the next stage will be, I'm going to stick the buildings down, but then once that's all drying in place, then I'll add the scatter while they're in situ, and then I can PVA around the edges, and then the grass will fall to finish off the effect, and then along the tops and everything. Yeah, it's going to look the part, I'm sure. So you should be able to see the effect I was going for now with this. So, you know, when the cars are driving down, a bit of rock, a bit of grass area. Not looking too bad. So I've added some trees. I bought a bag of trees off eBay. Only cheap, less than £10 for that lot. So I've started to add some trees now onto this bit, which I think look quite effective. And then we've put a few on the hills. And straightforward with the foam, they just push straight in, pretty straightforward. It's starting to take shape now. So all I've done now with trees is just plucked them out, stuck them in a bit of PVA and stuck them back in the holes. And that'll just make sure that they're solid in there. So I'm just adding a bit more detail to this area. Just to try and blend things in a little bit. I think it'll look right once it's dried. Put some like flower effect in them two areas where the path's gonna be. There's a kind of planted area. I've added a bit more on here now. Those soaps, added a bit of that flower effect, which most of it will come up, but once the glue's dried, we'll see what's been left behind. Right, that little scene. While we wait for this to dry, I've also ordered some more scatter. I'm gonna start putting some stuff down in this area. Have a look, see what we've got. Got this kind of grey, gravelly stuff. Might go with that. I might have a bit of that black tarmac in there as well. See what it turns out like. So there you go, it's a mixture of a little bit of that grey stone, a little bit of ballast and some tarmac cinder kind of effect. And then I've put it down onto some PVA, and then I've added a 50-50 mix on top, so hopefully that'll make it look like a bit of a messy, oily area. We'll see what it comes out like. And then whilst that's wet with glue, I took the opportunity just to stick a little bit of detail on the back and on the side, and I can glue with the scatter. We've added glue now to the remaining areas that need scatter, and then we shall just Add some more of this everywhere. So I'm just brushing away this area, what was my car park pub area, and we'll put some gravel effect down on that. So that's that scattered down, so that'll be good for the car park and where the pub's going to go. So I'm just going to put the PVA down in the lake area, and then we're adding desert sand onto the base of all that. I think that should offer a good effect once we add the realistic water to that at a later stage. So once again, it's a matter now of letting this all dry. All the scatter materials are now down. Okay, so it's all vacked off. So that's the base. Obviously there's a lot more to do now to bring it all a bit more to life, but at least I've always had a covering. You know, we shall have bits of edges and walling and stones and other scenic details and that, but I've done now with gluing for a bit. It's about time I played with some trains, because it's all been wet and I've not wanted to put the trains on there. Okay, so all track's been track rubbered now, so let's have a see what Blink Bonnie's doing. Grab some coaches. As you can see, I've got a bit carried away with myself, so I've started to add all different kinds of scattered materials to start to make it look more random, like a real area would look, to the best of my ability. So we've gone around with different materials, try and make the road a little bit less new and a bit more or less unkept. And then we've got lots of bits of soil, messy, muddy woodlandy areas to make that look a bit deeper, and then a bit neater hedgerow around the station area. Putting a little sand path for the signal box. Add a little sand path up at the top there, going into the cave. Yeah, so, and now I've glued everything down. So I've added a Jarvis stone wall now. So separate that area away from the lake area. And then I've also used it to do the goods area, and then we shall put a gate on that end, and I think that'll do for that. So this is what I've used, Summer Forest Scenery Kit, and that's what's gave me all the most of the scenery apart from the trees in this kit for $9.99 from eBay, including delivery.